Thanks so much. It's great to be here. Thank you, Ian, for hosting. Thank you, BlizzNet, for organising such a fantastic event. My role at Microsoft is to evangelize on accessibility, which essentially means I have one of the easiest jobs in the world, because accessibility is a subject that is really difficult not to be passionate about. You know, how could we not want to make the world a much more accessible place? It's a win-win for absolutely everybody. But it's fair to say that you can't just say that on a corporate responsibility thing. You have to live it and breathe it. And accessibility is a culture piece. You know, you have to really believe in accessibility in everything you do to implement it. And a great example might be, as we sit here tweeting about this event. How many of you are labeling your images as you tweet? And that might be that bit where you sit there and say, actually, I am accessible and I absolutely believe in it, but I'm not living and breathing it 100%. Because if you're not putting image descriptions behind your tweets, then you're ignoring everybody who's blind who might be following the Tech4Good Awards, of which I imagine there are a huge number. Trending on Twitter right now. And so that's why I wanted to kind of talk about culture. You can't just talk about accessibility and say, yeah, we do it. You know, we're moving from a world where it's kind of an obligation of accessibility to actually now this is an opportunity. You know, it's a real opportunity to make everything we do much more accessible and much more usable. And this is something that's really changed at Microsoft.
Thanks for letting me know.
Thank you, Emerson. That's, I think we call that corporate sabotage, I think. Just as I said how much good work Microsoft was doing it. Okay, so I threw this slide up because this is our kind of winners list, I would say, within Microsoft of garage projects that have arrived in the last couple of years, and this website's just gone up. And what was really interesting for me to see this was that I would say 4 or 5 of these have accessibility at their core. Eye control is now standard in Windows 10. You can buy a $150 eye tracker and control Windows 10 with your eyes. That's in Windows 10. Can we believe that that's happened? In my lifetime, I never believed that would happen. Microsoft Learning Tools is a suite within Office now, which allows people with dyslexia to consume text. You can now right-click on any web page in the Edge browser and click Read Aloud, and you can have reading with highlighting for any website, even if you can't read it. You know, these are features that have accessibility at their core, but are actually usable for so many more of us. I now, because I'm so used to the tech and I know about it, I was trying to get some paperwork done the other day, which for those that know me, know that that's certainly one of my disabilities. And I really wanted to read a blog, so I just right-clicked and read aloud, and I carried on with my paperwork while I read the website, I listened to the website in my ears. So good accessibility just leads to wins everywhere we look. Robin's going to talk about seeing AI, but the video indexer is amazing. So videoindexer.ai, and then we'll talk about AI, allows you to upload any video and record the sentiment on the video, get the transcript for subtitles, yeah? And it will also face recognize who's in that video, so you can search for other videos within your organization that feature the same person. This is just usability. This is productivity. But the subtitles that are automatic on every video, which is now in a product called Stream, by the way, allows us to just comply and make sure that we're giving subtitles for every single thing that we do within our organization. Now, we've been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on this for years, to pay specialists in to make our tools accessible. But we're sitting in a world of digital transformation now where these tools are just there in the cloud, ready to be implemented into everything we do. So I just wanted to kind of show that so many of the things that we're seeing here now have accessibility in them at Microsoft. And part of that is that we hack on this. So Tech4Good is like a load of hacks that are gaining momentum. Microsoft runs the biggest private hack in the world called 1 Week, where people come from all around the world in Microsoft and they hack on passion projects. In the last 3 years, we've seen the number of people doing disability products go from the tens to the hundreds. So that comes from culture. That comes from a mission statement at Microsoft that says we must empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And all of those techies, and can we say geeks in a room like this? I think we can say geeks. But geeks kind of going, actually, we do want to do good things. People who work in technology want to do good things, but you need a space for them to create and a permission to hack on amazing Tech4Good projects. I would also say if you're talking at all about disability and accessibility, you need leadership to get it. You absolutely do. You've got to be given permission on this. And as we sit here in a world looking at artificial intelligence and politicians every day saying, oh, well, this is going to take all of our jobs, and this is a bad technology, and you get that impression sometimes. But when you think, actually, what really is artificial intelligence? And you have leaders saying, we need to use this for good. We need to use this in a way that augments human ability. If you hear this, see this quote, I'll just read it for those that can't read this, from Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. We want to build intelligence that augments human abilities and experiences. Rather than thinking in terms of human versus machine, we want to focus on how human gifts such as creativity, empathy, emotion, physicality, and insight can be mixed with powerful AI computation. Now, Robin's going to show you one of those apps that's landed, actually, that really encompasses all of this. But we can use tech for good. We've got to kind of write that into the process. And so when Satya talks about artificial intelligence, I quite often sit there and think, well, yeah, we can work on some really good projects. There are some things that human beings just don't do or won't do, or we've tried too hard for years to make them to do it. Robin was talking earlier about accessible websites. No matter what law we put in, no matter how much we explain to customers that they're missing out on the purple pound that people with disabilities should be spending through their websites, it's just being ignored by the world. So artificial intelligence can probably play a role here. Artificial intelligence can probably take a website and make it accessible. Or it may not let you save a Word document until it is accessible. Culturally, we might get there. In Twitter, when you put your photos up, you have to manually label those images. In PowerPoint, when you put an image in, it automatically describes what that image is. That's the difference. Artificial intelligence says, there's somebody who's blind in the world who needs to know what that image is, so we're going to label it for you, because actually we can't convince you to do it manually. Yeah? So I think there's a real opportunity in everything we do to embrace, and actually as the disability world or the accessibility world, to own artificial intelligence for the first few years. And say AI, when used for good, is actually a really powerful technology. So let's actually focus first on where it augments human ability. The other thing I want to talk about quickly before Robin comes up to show Seeing AI is I don't just think of these apps as just offering this amazing new function. Seeing AI narrates the world for people who are blind or have low vision. So it recognizes people's faces and tells you who's in the room with you. We also do an app called Microsoft Translator that gives live transcripts of everything you say and translates into other languages. But I can use that with somebody who's deaf to give them subtitles in every conversation. To me, when we see amazing technology and things like the apps that Microsoft people are bringing out right now around disability products, it's where it changes the human interaction that I really see the impact. So I've worked in the field of accessible or assistive technology for 20 years, but I didn't work in deaf tech or blind tech. I worked in physical disability and communication disabilities. So I remember Simone Zygae's project very, very well. But if I was to meet somebody who was using sign language, would I comfortably go and engage with them? Would I confidently go up and take a conversation with somebody who uses sign language when I cannot communicate in their preferred method? I wouldn't. But now that I know that I've got an app that I can go and talk to somebody who's signing and translate my voice into text so that they can read it, I am now actively going and annoying every deaf person in my community in Oxfordshire. Yeah? Because I want to show them, but also I want to learn about them. I want to talk to them. I want to engage. But the technology is what's letting me engage, because I can't learn sign language. I don't have that ability. But the app, the free app that's just on my phone that allows me to talk and use subtitles, is allowing me to change the way that we interact as human beings. So that, to me, is the win. Is that when technology changes human ability, a human interaction, and actually leads to more productive, enriched conversations and communication between each other, I really think that's when we start seeing Tech for Good really landing in a strong way. And with that in mind, I'd like to welcome Robin up on the stage to give you a demo of some of the things that we're doing right now. Thank you.